While I've been looking for inspiration for this coming season of crochet, I've been scrolling through a lot of patterns. And in that, I've found that it's very difficult to find the kinds of patterns that I'm looking for, which are maybe more like chic, timeless, maybe more knit looking patterns. And there's a lot of scrolling to get to those patterns that meet all of my personal requirements. And so I thought that I would share what I've learned with you guys because I'm lucky enough to be currently unemployed. So I've got the time to do all of this, and I know that not everybody does have so much time, and so I'm going to curate for you guys a list of patterns that I think all of them are beautiful and will be great projects for this fall winter. And then you guys don't have to go and scroll through Ravelry for 5 hours straight like I did. So we're going to start off with sweaters. And excuse me, I've got all my notes written here, so if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes that I've written so I can remember everything correctly. So starting with sweaters, we first have the Patchwork Sweater by Auburn Threads, which I think is beautiful in this specific sample that I saw, which is a monochrome beige sample. And it reminds me a lot of a vest that I saw in an expensive store that I could not afford. But I took a picture of it at the time because I was like, I want to learn, I want to make something like that myself. And it was like a monochrome beige vest with granny squares. And this one's a monochrome beige sweater with granny squares. Now, of course, it doesn't need to be beige. I think that this sweater would be gorgeous in like a mahogany or like even a bright orange, like a autumn leaf orange. I think that would be beautiful. You could do anything, but I do think that the monochrome version is so sleek and beautiful, and that's what I would personally make if I do end up making this. Here's the thing is I have way too many patterns. I cannot make all of these, but I'm going to share all of them with you guys, so hopefully somebody can benefit from these beautiful patterns that I found. Now the patchwork sweater is $5 for the pattern. I couldn't find what sizes it comes in. This is the only one that I couldn't find the details of that, but we'll see. Yarn, DK, and I couldn't find the hook size either, apparently. So I don't have great details for this one. I do apologize. Moving on. The Aries Sweater by Anna Maria is a really interesting texture. It's like, well, it says in the description that it changes how it looks as you move, because I think that the appearance of the like polka dots goes in and out of view as you look at it from different angles, which I think is quite interesting. And I can't figure out how it was made. And so that's what excites me about this pattern, is that I actually couldn't figure it out for myself. I don't know what this stitch is or what this texture is or how this color work was done, so that's quite interesting to me. I love the sample in the white with the dark green contrast because it reminds me of like an Irish sweater. Not in the sense that it looks an Irish sweater. I don't know. There's something about it. I think it would be quite timeless in that color scheme. Maybe I would do it with a different color instead of green, but also like another dark, like a dark red or a dark blue. Something like that I think would be very beautiful and timeless. So this pattern costs €9.61. It comes in sizes extra small to 6XL. It uses a sport weight yarn and it has a 4mm hook size. Anna Maria also has another sweater pattern that I quite liked, even though this is a little bit maybe standing out from the rest of the patterns that I'm showing you. This is the Cosmopolitan sweater, which is a batwing sweater, which, okay, batwing sweaters are very of a certain time. Maybe that time is 2009, but I've always liked them. I think that they're so comfy and cozy, and I think that they do look good. I think that they're gonna come back. You guys mark my words, I think they're gonna come back. So this sweater, the pattern costs €9.61. Comes in sizes extra small to 5XL. The yarn is in a DK weight and the hook size is 6 millimeters. Now the next pattern that I have is the Houndstooth Sweater by Dream Crochet. And when I was looking for these patterns was the first time that I found out that you can do houndstooth with crochet stitches. That is very exciting to me. Now that is like a really, maybe it's also had its moment in the sun in the 2000s, and that's fine with me. Houndstooth to me is still like a classic. I mean, when you think of houndstooth, you think of like a English country gentleman, and that's what I'm going for apparently. So if I look like I live in the Cotswolds, then that's a win. The Houndstooth Sweater by Dream Crochet, the pattern costs $5. It comes in sizes extra small to XXL. The yarn is a DK weight and the hook size is 4 millimeters. Next we have the Goldenrod Sweater by Linda Skuya. This pattern reminds me of something that would be really popular in the knitting community. Now I watch a lot of knitting podcasters because I just think that I like the aesthetic of popular knitting patterns more than crochet maybe, but I feel like this pattern could make it in the knitting world. Personally, I think it would. So this sweater, this sample is orange. I think it's interesting because there's another sample that's in tan, and in that one the golden rods look like wheat to me. And there's another sample that's in lavender, and in that one the goldenrods look like lavender, flowers. I think that's exciting as well. So I feel like this one, based on what color you choose, it'll actually change the sort of connotation of the sweater in a way. That's exciting. This pattern costs €12.39. It comes in sizes extra small to XXL. The yarn is a fingering weight and the hook size is 4.5 millimeters. Next we have the Stroll Sweater by Ksenia Borisova. I hope I'm pronouncing all these names correctly. This is a sweater with a textured yoke. It has these like bobbles and then cutouts. And again, I like the look of a textured yoke. I think that it's very classic. I mean, it reminds me of like an old-fashioned sweater, and that makes it seem timeless to me because I still like it. So this sweater, the pattern costs $6. It comes in sizes extra small to XXL. The yarn is a sport weight yarn and the hook size is 3.5 millimeters. Ksenia Borisova also has another pattern that I liked, which is the Holly Sweater. And I think that this sweater would look great in a dark green or a dark red. And I don't know if this is just because of the name. Maybe I'm not easily influenced, but like I immediately was like, oh, that'd be a perfect Christmas sweater, like Christmas party sweater, if it was in like a dark green or dark red. Something about it. I don't know. Maybe it is just the name. Anyway, the pattern costs $7. It comes in sizes extra small to XXL. The yarn is a fingering weight and the hook size is 4 millimeters. Next we have the Fusion Sweater by Svetlana Kokina, which I found I love her patterns. But unfortunately, as you're about to find out, she only makes them in a size M, which is, I guess, her size. And I understand that as a person who makes a lot of my own patterns. Well, I don't even sell them, or like attempt to sell them, but the reason why I don't is because I'm so overwhelmed by the idea of having to grade my own design that I made for myself into the size of everybody else. That seems very difficult to me. I make everything by measuring on my own body. So anyway, maybe I'm projecting here, but I respect that she only makes it in her own size. And if you guys want to try to follow along, then that's on you, you know? Especially because her patterns are like cable work and like these more challenging concepts, and to try to grade that seems like a lot of work. I feel like that's not really what she's going for here. I feel like she's just trying to make something for herself, and then she's trying to share it with the world if anybody else wants to try to do it as well. So I respect it, even though it's very annoying to me as somebody who now can't really make this pattern because I'm not a size M. So this was my favorite cabled sweater that I found, this fusion sweater. It costs €7.28, quite specific. The yarn is an Aran weight, and the hook is 6 millimeters. So because this sweater is only in a size M, I did include another cabled sweater that I also thought was nice. And this is the Mira Fisherman Sweater by Olivia Kent, which is a free pattern. That's a total win. It's in a size extra small to XXL. It's an Aran weight yarn, and it's in a 6 millimeter needle, 6 millimeter crochet hook. So the yarn and the crochet hook are exactly the same with the Mira Fisherman Sweater and the Fusion Sweater, which is interesting to me. I know they also sell kits of the Mira Fisherman Sweater. Lion brand maybe sells kits or something. I saw that in the Ravelry comments or whatever. Okay, moving on to cardigans. We're gonna start with the cardigan number 15 by Daisy and Peace, which I included because it's just a very basic, classic cardigan that if you're just looking for something oversized and comfy, but that still looks sort of finished, you know, polished. This is a great option for that. So it costs $4.99. It comes in sizes extra small to XXL. The yarn is a DK weight, and the hook is a 5 millimeter. The Elena cardigan by Yumeji, I hope, is inspired by, she said, like, tweed suit jackets, which I was very into at one point in my life. And so I think that this is sort of giving me nostalgia for that era. But I also love that it is just a cardigan. And you could just wear it as a top, you know, button it up. I think that'd be super cute. Especially this tan sample with the varsity stripes I really like. And the varsity stripes remind me of the Taylor Swift cardigan, which everybody is making now with the Eras tour going on. I've seen a lot of people making it. And so that just reminds me of that, even though it doesn't look like that cardigan at all, but it does have the varsity stripes. So this pattern costs $13.64, and this is made to measure, which means that you can use any hook size and any yarn, and based on your gauge, you'll get however big you need to make it based on your measurements. So that gives you a lot of freedom, and is obviously gonna fit you really well because it's not just like a standard size L. It's gonna be like exactly your waist, whatever measurements. Then we have the final cardigan is the Tiffany cardigan by Janelle, which I included here because this is the cardigan that I'll be working on this fall because I started it quite a while ago and I gave it up for the summer. I was focusing on more summery projects, and now I'm going to start working on it again. So my sample is going to be in, or my cardigan is going to be in like a dark coffee brown, but the sample that really spoke to me when I was looking at the product pictures was this witchy blue. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like a dark blue, but it's not a royal blue, it's like a witchy blue. The pattern costs $12, and it is also made to measure, so I think there would also be some freedom on what yarn and which hook size you use. Moving on, jackets. This was an idea that struck me the other day like a brick. I was so excited about this idea as soon as I thought of it. And my specific idea, the closest that I've been able to find to what I want to make, is this waffle cardigan again by Ksenia Borisova. Apparently I'm a big Ksenia Borisova fan as well. So I would use this pattern and I would just lengthen the sleeves. And I think I would make it in like a light blue or in like a camel. I don't know, I really have to think about it based on my clothes and what other jackets I have, but those are the colors that immediately came to my mind. So the pattern costs $6. It comes in sizes XXS to XL. It uses a sport weight yarn and the hook is 3 millimeters. Next we have Inga's Jacket by Trina Bertelsen, I don't know. And in the sample that she made, it's in a tan and white houndstooth, which I think looks lovely, and like those are very obviously classic chic colors. But I went through the other people's projects of this jacket, and I have to say, every single color combination that I saw looked amazing. Looked so, like, I don't know, professional. I don't know what else to say. They just looked great. I think that this jacket could really be made in any color combination and it would look amazing. So this is another houndstooth pattern, calling back to earlier. This one is like quite a long jacket. This would really be warm, and it's made with a bulky weight yarn, so I feel like this would actually be like a very warm, practical late fall piece. Maybe even a little bit winter, depending on how much you layer underneath it. Maybe you could wear it in the winter. So the pattern costs €6. It comes in sizes XS to 3XL. The yarn is bulky and the hook size is 6 millimeters. And then the final jacket that I have is sort of maybe out of the box again, but when I saw it, I don't know, I was just struck by it. So I'm including it. It is this 2-color granny jacket, which is a free pattern, and in the sample, and they really recommend in the description as well to make it in this black and white so that it's quite like a chic look. I keep using that word, I don't know what else to say. And so, yeah, I don't know, maybe I would also do black and white. I think that any 2 colors could look fun, but if you wanted it to be something a little bit more polished, I guess I would keep it in the neutrals. Just because I'm not a huge, I feel like granny squares have been so done at this point, and I don't want to disrespect granny squares. I have 2 granny square patterns in here. You know, I am partial to a granny square, but I just feel like using like a scrap yarn granny square project at this point wouldn't really please my eye personally. No disrespect. So yeah, this is a free pattern. It comes in sizes extra small to 5XL. The yarn is Aran weight and the hook size is 4.5 millimeters. Then we have vests, and I decided to include this because I wanted this video to be sort of comprehensive about all the things that you might consider making. Well, not all the things. These are mostly only tops, but anyway, things you might consider making in the autumn. And there were some that I came across that really spoke to me, but I'm not really a vest person, so I will realistically not be making any of these. But I thought that I would show you guys anyway. So there's the lace honeycombs vest, again by Svetlana Kokina. And so like I said earlier, she only makes things for herself. Girl boss. So it's only in a size medium. And it costs $6. The yarn is DK and the hook is 5 millimeters. The one thing about this pattern that you should know, because it's not very clear from the pictures, is that it is a lace. Like, that's in the name of the pattern, but you really need to know, like, what you, like, it's holes in the middle. I thought that it was a solid fabric, but it's not. It's just the cables. There's nothing behind the cables. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not sure how you would style it, but like in her pictures where she styled them, it looks great. You can't really even notice, but I think it's because it's wearing a similar colored top underneath. So that's probably what I would do as well. Then we have the vest cozy, which I forgot to write down who it was by. So I'll include that somewhere, maybe in the description box below. I'll put all these patterns down there. Which costs $6 for the pattern. It comes in sizes extra small to large. The yarn is fingering weight and the hook is 4mm. This is just like a very classic, oversized, sort of like, well, it's a sweater vest, but it looks like really a sweater vest. You know what I mean? It looks like something that your dad would have had left over from the 90s. If your dad was like an academic. I don't really know what to say. I feel like this is, again, not something that I would wear, but I've seen a lot of other people wearing them. Like just a vest with like no top underneath, and I think it looks so cool and like laid back, but also you're wearing this like sort of proper academic vest, but it somehow looks like laid back and cool and casual. So I just think that's interesting how people have been styling that. Yeah. Anyway, then we have also the cap sleeve wrap, which again will be in the description below because I didn't write down who it was by. This one, again, maybe out of the box. This seems very 2008, 2009 in a way, but I have to say it just spoke to me. I feel like it could be super cute. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the project pictures that I've seen haven't really spoken to me, but I feel like it could still be done in a way that would really stoke my fire. So maybe I will. Maybe this is one that I might actually attempt to make because I feel like there's something there for me. So this pattern costs $11.16. It comes in a size extra small to extra large. The yarn is sport weight and the hook is 6mm. Finally, I wanted to include some hats. I could have included all sorts of accessories, like I could have tried to find scarves and I don't know, leg warmers and all sorts of stuff, but I feel like a lot of these things you don't really need a pattern for, like scarves. Okay, so the hats that I found, these are all free patterns. There's the Watson Waffle crochet hat, which is used as a sport weight yarn and has a 3.5mm crochet hook. I'm really into the waffle pattern right now, like I said, with the waffle coat that I want to make. So this one just stood out to me for that reason. There's also a matching waffle mitten pattern that goes with it, and that's very exciting to me as well. I feel like I might make those with like a fluffy white yarn, maybe. Then we have the Jenny beanie, which is like a knit look beanie, and it uses a worsted weight yarn and a 6mm crochet hook. Not much to say about this, I just think it's nice. Then there's the Brilliant Cables beanie, which is my last hat, and it is a like, I just think that this would be a great introduction to cables on like a small project like this. I also just think it looks really fun. It's so chunky. I've heard that chunky cables are in for this season, if you care about trends at all, and so in that sense, this could be a fun way to participate in the trend without having it be like a huge project that's going to take you forever. Yeah, it uses a bulky weight yarn and a 8mm crochet hook. So those were all the patterns that I found, but obviously I couldn't possibly find everything, especially because I was mostly on Ravelry, because there's a lot. I found that the patterns that are on Instagram and the patterns that are on Ravelry are completely distinct. There's very little, if any, overlap. And so the problem that I'm having is I find it very difficult to navigate Instagram in a way that allows me to find crochet patterns that I like. If I find one in my Explore feed or by somebody that I'm following by some chance, then that's very lucky, and I'll save it to my collection. But otherwise, I have no clue how to find patterns on Instagram. Google gives me the worst results. I was first trying to find patterns on Google, and that just didn't give me anything. So yeah, I couldn't possibly find everything, and if you know of a great pattern that you think the rest of us would like to hear about, please leave it down below in the comments section, because I would love to find even more great fall-winter patterns for me to maybe be able to use. And if there's any other information that I could give you guys, please ask, and I will try to answer any questions. Thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure, and have a great day.